Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Some big moves coming up. What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Slop Talk, where we are on Big Brother 23. We are on the new Wildcard and nomination episode. So I think this is episode five for BB23. And my man, if you're just now catching us and you're not caught up on Big Brother, my man Kyland is the HOH, and you know, he's taking this episode pretty seriously. I kind of like the focus he has. It's not aggressive, but I feel like Frenchie is like the LeBron James right now of Big Brother. It's not his HOH. He is the kind of the focus right now. But it's not his HOH. He really has nothing to do with who's in charge. But nobody can stop talking about him.
No,
like it's all Frenchie. Like I get it. Spoiler alert: he goes up on the block at the end of this episode, but it's almost all Frenchie. It's the house versus Frenchie in this episode. Right. So I feel like LeBron James, like he's not in the finals, but they can't stop talking about him. You know, Space Jam 2, or he's on the sidelines watching the game, or his son's playing basketball. It's always about LeBron James. But I feel like Frenchie's the LeBron James right now. He's just not in his greatness, because we all know Frenchie kind of just off the rails, but just in the fact that they can't stop mentioning Frenchie. So
Kyland wins. And they're really caught up on this rogue vote. Like, really, they're just like, they can't stop thinking about it. And I don't know if it's because they're just bored and they're just like, I don't know what else to talk about. And that's, they're just fixated on it. But they're really hell bent on figuring out who were the two rogue votes.
Yeah. And it's funny because the two rogue votes were sitting in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And they were the only two, like, I don't care who the rogue vote is.
Exactly.
They don't know they're the rogue votes, but
yeah,
they're both a rogue vote, and they're both like, I don't care, let's just move on. But that's the good moment of it, is like they're just like cleaning up the kitchen, like, I don't care, let's just move on. But
and what do you think about Tiffany doing Frenchie a solid and throwing in the rogue vote?
Her reasoning was a real good one. To test the waters to see if Frenchie would say something, which he is on the like toes over the edge, ready to say something. He has his hand on her back, ready to push her in front of a bus. So I think it was a good, but I think it's just confirming what everyone knew. I don't think she should have done it. I think everyone already knew. I mean, they're just confirming how they feel about Frenchie, which is he's off the rails. He's gonna open his mouth and he's talking way too much. And
he's just so asinine. He's just like, I know who it is. I'm not gonna say anything though. And just like, what is the point of even saying that if you're not gonna tell people? It's just annoying.
Yeah.
It's not a power move. It's just, now you're just annoying.
Yeah. And people who don't know that he actually does know, if they don't believe that he knows, then they just think he's more of a liar at that point. Like, he's just saying stuff to get people riled up. I'm actually glad towards the middle of the episode they started to move away from the rogue votes, because he was just really close. I don't know if they edit it to where they actually did make a bigger thing in the cams about the rogue vote, and next episode we'll see that part cut in. But Frenchie
wants to feel important. He wants to feel like he's a factor in everyone's decision making. And I mean, he's getting what he wants because people are nonstop talking about him. I just think it's not the best approach to kind of get them on his side. But I mean, he's just the whole time I'm just like, I wish we could kind of do a review while it's playing, just so you could hear my commentary, because it's just like the whole time I'm just like, oh, you're so annoying.
That might come to it. We might have to do a live watch of a live episode when we can arrange that, because it would be good because there's points when I'm animated. Like, what do you like? This is me watching. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're asking to be eliminated. Like, that's me watching him do or watching some of these guys play this game. So
I was cracking up at Tiffany the whole game.
Yeah, I actually think she could be a really good player if she doesn't get too big for her britches. Like if she keeps her cool the way she is right now, she could be a really good player moving through the next few weeks.
She can have a really good social game.
She has a really good social game. She has a good poker face. She knows how to keep it straight. And the whole crying thing where she was like crying.
The whole like I'm just gonna pretend like I'm missing my kid just so I can have a conversation with someone.
That's
just genius because people are gonna be like, oh, so sorry, I'm gonna go right now. So sorry. And then
Alyssa looks so uncomfortable. Like, I don't even think those were the clothes she was trying to get. She was just like, I'm gonna grab something.
I don't even think that was her suitcase.
She's grabbing Sarah Beth's clothes.
It works. So you walk into a room, you see someone crying, and you're like, oh, I'm not gonna like linger around to see, if they're talking about game. She's really upset about her missing her kid, and when she gets up, she's like, I'm not missing my kid. Like, oh, I was just dying.
She had me in the first half. I was like, oh man, I was like, already doing the emotional thing, and then she gets up and starts laughing. I'm like, oh my goodness, that was great. But in those walkarounds, you also see Frenchie saying, I'm going home. Like I can't trust anybody. I'm going home. And then one of the clips that I saw recently, he said he's gonna self-evict himself because he doesn't want to go. I guess if you self-evict yourself, you don't go to the house, like you're gone. I have no idea.
I don't know either.
I don't know, but I guess that was the conversation between him
quitting the show, I guess, entirely.
Yeah, it's between him and Big D. That was the conversation in like one of the cam conversations that I saw on social media.
A power, not as an like advantage in the game. Power, like you can't handle the fact that you were in control of the game and you're letting someone else get you out. You can't even handle it that you want to like quit the game.
Yeah. So definitely sets you up. Frenchie, you're not going to be on All Stars. I'm just gonna let you know that with this kind of attitude. But on that note, we did have a wild card competition, which was a contest between Sarah Beth, Frenchie, who like I have to play. I'm going home if I don't. And then Brent, who was again a team that just like. We're not picking just random draw. Like who does like, come on guys. At one point, come on guys.
Yeah. Frenchie swears like, oh, I'm so important. I have to play this game. I wrote that. Frenchie swears. The aces, I wrote annoying. They can't pick another person. And I said, Whitney's boring. Like when she was just like, we're going to choose to have the house, whatever. Someone pick us at random, and I'm like, you're boring, like moving on. And then they panned over to like Hannah, and I'm like, I forgot Hannah's in the house. Like there's a couple people I'm like, oh yeah, they're in the house. And everyone's just like intermingled with each other on the couch, and like I think everyone's having a showman. It's like
it does just like one big home.
Now she's on his lap and he's like holding hands with him, and I don't know.
Yeah, everybody that was hanging out on the couch before they called everyone to the wild card selection, they kind of just didn't move. Like people were sitting on like other, like I think there was a shot where like Derek X was like laid out and people were like sitting on his legs because he chose not to sit up. So little rude there, but hey, to each his own. I get it, you were there first, but just sit up. It's competition. Sit up. So Sarah Beth, Brent, and Frenchie play. So
we had to hear one of Frenchie's idioms or metaphors or whatever about, he always refers to animals and, the big shark and then the fish and then the rooster, or I don't know, whatever he was talking about. I'm so over it. Every time he started talking about it, I'm like, you're not that serious, Frenchie.
So I knew Frenchie wasn't winning this competition because during the room interviews where they commentate on how they were playing the game, Frenchie was wearing his hat, and he was wearing his hat during the competition. And if you go back and you watch, you could see paint splatter on his hat.
Oh.
And so when he got paint splatter the first time, the pattern of the paint on his hat was the exact same one that was in the interview room. So I was like, he doesn't win anymore because there's no more paint on his hat. It's only the pink
What
paint.
an observation.
I was like, he loses. I was like, this is perfect. So spoiler alert, if you guys haven't seen it, Frenchie loses. Sarah Beth actually wins. And I was cheering for Sarah Beth. I was actually cheering for Sarah Beth. I was like, way to go. Like, good job. Like, she was all about it.
It was her game to lose for sure. That was like the best. That was like the perfect game for her to play.
Oh, yeah.
She had totally had like game face on the whole time. She's like, okay, like she was like in her element for sure.
Yeah. And I said that too when they came up to it and they were giving the explanation of the game and the pictures, and you have to answer questions about the colors. I was like, oh, it's not a physical one, because obviously, not that she'd be outmatched because Brent and Frenchie were there, but she had a better chance if it wasn't physical, and she actually came out on top. So Sarah Beth won the wild card. Now her choice, I do not agree with. So by winning the wild card, she had the choice to be safe, but she had to switch with somebody on Kyland's team, which would mean somebody on Kyland's team would not be safe this week, which all of them are just banking on that they, Kyland won, he's HOH, and they're all safe. And she chose not to switch. And you have to feel really safe in the position you're in.
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing. I thought she must feel really confident in the relationship she has with Kyland, and we don't really know what it is. We only get, a segment of, what happens in the house. So she must have felt really confident. Like she knew for sure she wasn't going to go or be put on the block. But I mean, that was just a bold move. I mean,
super bold, especially with what happened last week with Frenchie saying no girl's gonna go up. Like, well, just overall Frenchie's promises and them all going out the window once it comes time for nomination, and then the veto. Super bold move, because Travis felt super safe because Frenchie told him he was, and then he ended up going home. Not that I feel like she would have been put up, or maybe they're trying to backdoor. I just feel like I would have switched because I think you would bank on the fact that Kyland already wouldn't put up whoever you pulled off of his team.
Who would you have switched with?
So it's Tiffany and
Big D.
No, because Big D's on Frenchie's team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's Kyland, Tiffany. Oh, man. So obviously I remember her name because that's who I thought she was going to switch with. I thought she was going to switch with Tiffany. So,
and it's hard, right? Because you're like, okay, am I causing drama though by, pissing them off? What if they're on the block next, so it's a tough choice to make. I don't know what I would have done. It's
obviously probably better gameplay for long run, sticking out with your team. Because first off, you switch, you're gonna piss off that team and that person you switch with, and then you're gonna piss off your old team because they're like, oh, well, we're not good enough for you. And so immediate reward would have been to be safe. Long term, I guess she did play it right, because she kept kind of the peace between the two different groups, the queens and the aces, I think it were. But either way, I'm gonna have to get these teams. We're gonna have to get this teams down sometime, because we're mixing them all up. But then nominations come, and my man Kyland was acting real lawyerish. He was sitting there interviewing everybody. I was actually proud of him, because it wasn't an aggressive interview. It was just kind of reading people and their answers, right? It's kind of feeling out how you feel, where everybody stands, and
he did it in a very respectful way, so it wasn't just like,
it wasn't Frenchie. Yeah,
it wasn't disrespectful. It wasn't, he was just like, people are like, well, what do you think, Kyland? He's like, I don't really have to answer that. I'm in a position where, of power, and you're like, true, So, I mean, you have to respect the game in that sense,
Yeah, and he's HOH. I mean, that was the best line I think you could have if somebody, you're asking somebody about who they should nominate, and they retort back like, what do you think? Well, I think that's the best answer. Well, in the position I'm in, I don't have to answer any of that, right? And if the other person clams up, well, then you're at a stalemate and you just move on to the next person. So I definitely think he approached it correctly, and got the answers he needed, because now I don't agree with it, but now Frenchie and Brittany are on the block. And I don't agree with Frenchie as an initial, as an initial nomination. I think you should have surprised him and made him feel comfortable by nominating somebody else.
He would have felt more paranoid. I feel like he would have known like they were going to backdoor him.
That's true. But with this, you guarantee him a chance at POV. Exactly. That's all I'm saying.
I would have definitely backdoored him too. You know, Frenchie's the definition of a gaslighter for sure. Like if nobody knows what gaslighting means, it's watch the game and watch Frenchie. Frenchie literally threw a fit, went around the house, did this whole like, you know, woe is me tour all the way around the house, got everyone like going up to everyone and be like, I know what you're doing, you know, blah, blah, how dare you, blah, you know. And then somehow when they want to approach him, he's like, okay, yeah, I'll talk to you for sure, but let's not do this in a dramatic kind of way. Yeah. Because you're kind of being a little dramatic and emotional about it. And it's like, what? Like, does he not look in the mirror at all? And Kyland nominates Frenchie and Brittany just completely fell apart. She was sobbing.
I think she should have saw the bigger picture and listened to what Kyland said. She did take it way too personal. She felt like Kyland, like she was Kyland's target this week. To be honest, if she just listened to what Kyland said,
or what she said while she was talking to Kyland. Yeah. You know, we always say like, oh, Brittany, every time, and even in this episode, like in the beginning, Brittany's always like, yeah, you know, she's always like 100% like going 100 miles per hour. And even when she was talking to Kyland, she was kind of like, oh yeah, you know, Frenchie's, you know, let's not, you know, she was defending Frenchie, you know, and Frenchie's, oh, Brittany's the one that's on his team because that's the person we can think of. You know, we can't, you know, Frenchie, you know, he's a good guy and, you know, he's very loyal. We can't do that to you. And then Kyland just saw that as, okay, you know, that's just another vote for Frenchie because Frenchie's his ultimate target. Why he didn't backdoor him, I don't know.
Yeah, but so I think she could have said it differently. I understand. I don't know how she is with Frenchie. Obviously, there hasn't been too much interaction shown on the show between Frenchie and Brittany, but I feel like she should have went about it differently, saying she wouldn't initially nominate him just because she's on the team with him. Because the Big Brother is definitely using whoever thought of this teams thing versus alliance thing. It did a really great job because it's hard to say, yeah, we should get Frenchie out when he's on your team. That's potentially one more person that can guarantee you safety next week, right? So
it's obvious. You don't have to point out the obvious, and she did.
Yeah.
And so much on Frenchie, she could have, instead of saying why not Frenchie, she could have said why Big D or why Derek or why, you know, but she focused on defending him too much, where, you know, that was a red flag for Kyland. And if you watch the end, you could see Kyland, I don't know if he's in the kitchen or he's in tears because he felt so bad. Yeah. But you know, he has a heart. He didn't mean to hurt her feelings, but she was just like a mess.
Yeah, she definitely took it, like I said, to heart really bad. I definitely think Kyland, I'm pretty sure they have a heart to heart because he's got to let her know that it's not personal. And it's not an attack on her. And I, you know, if I was Kyland, I'd go up to her and be like, I hope you win the POV. Like, please win the POV. Like, please.
Yeah, because she was just like, I'm just looking at my notes and she was just like amped. She's like, oh, you better believe I'm going to be the power, or I'm going to win the power of veto. And you're like, good. Yeah. Like, I would have been like, that's great. Like, please do. Yeah. You know?
But it's all strategic. You think about it. Not only was that a vote against a vote, she was supporting Frenchie, and that's a vote against Frenchie, right? Yeah. But if she does win POV, if she does win veto, she can't use it to pull him off the block. She would have to use it to pull herself off.
Exactly. So Kyland actually made a good move. And if she doesn't win, they're both on the block. And
Frenchie goes home.
Yeah, and she can't vote.
Yeah. So either way, he made a strategic move to get the one person he was focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
From their one-on-one, from what he said at the nomination ceremony. She should have heard exactly what he was aiming for this week and understood why she was on the block. Mm-hmm. Not to be voted out, but just to make sure that Frenchie goes home, which was his target. And so, yeah, I felt bad for her because she took it so personal, but I really hope she does win, just so the plan to get Frenchie out is gone. I really think a lot of the gameplay will start once he goes home because
it's so Frenchie focused.
Yeah. And so yeah.
Hopefully they're not just like, well, no one really likes him and he's not really a threat. No one's really loyal to him. So let's get out someone else that is a bigger threat. You know, I hope this always happens. So I hope I
hope they don't change their mind last minute. You know, Frenchie kind of had to last week because he realized what he did wrong. But I hope, I hope they're just like, let's get him out. Mm-hmm. Let's kumbaya the house. You know, that's our sage burning. Let's get him out and let's start -2, right? Just start afresh.
No one is really going to be upset if he leaves. Like, who's going to be upset? Brittany's not going to be upset because she's going to be safe.
Yeah.
No one. And then Big D is going to be like, whatever, I saw the cookout. Like, no one's going to be upset.
Yeah. And even Brent is kind of like, you know, Frenchie's got to go. Like, this is just too crazy. Like,
you guys are doing me a favor if he gets out. Like, you know, good riddance if he leaves.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the whole house is turned. Big D, I think, is salvaging a relationship with Frenchie just in case he does stick around. Yeah. But other than that, if not this week, the next opportunity, Frenchie will go home. So we'll see.
He has to go home because if you're thinking, let's say he's safe, and he wins HOH. Mm-hmm. Like, people should be scared. Oh, he might be HOH again. You know?
Yeah. Like I said, next opportunity, because if he doesn't go home this week, right, and he wins HOH next week, or is safe because somebody on his team wins, then that's a whole nother week you have to deal with Frenchie. Now, drama and keeping everybody watching and entertained definitely will keep me entertained for another week if Frenchie sticks around, because I would just be screaming at the television for a whole nother week until he actually goes home. So there's always a chance. You know. So did we miss anything?
I don't think so.
All right. So who's your pick? Are you 100% sure Frenchie's going home?
100% sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's my pick.
But I'm not going to be shocked either.
My pick is Frenchie goes home.
I'm pretty confident, but if for whatever reason he doesn't, I wouldn't be shocked either.
I'm going to be shocked if he doesn't go home. I'm not only going to be shocked, I'm going to be mad at Kyland. Unless it's because of the veto. If he wins power of veto, then that's a whole different story. But no POV. I'm going to be shocked if Frenchie doesn't go home.
I don't think Frenchie's that good. I think he won. What was the game they had to play for him to win power?
They had to build the pyramid out of the stacks, the different shapes.
Yeah, that just so happened because he won the first welcome to the house game, and he just so happened to be the captain.
Yeah. And most of it was your teammates holding it steady so it doesn't tip over. And so, I mean, he's just had a good team at that point. So
yeah, I don't think it was based on skill or talent or anything.
Yeah, because as we can see, Frenchie would screw that up. So
yeah,
he screwed up his HOH. He's gonna screw up the POV. He screwed up the HOH. He screwed up the wild card. Now he's gonna screw up the POV, and hopefully Frenchie goes home. But
hopefully the producers are just like, let's just send him home. We're done talking about him.
They're like, I don't know how much. I think I saw also a fan poll, and Frenchie is at like a 7% approval rating right now out of everybody. I think Kyland and I forgot who at the top, but they're like at 47 something percent approval.
I don't know. I like Tiffany, so we'll see.
I think she was close to the middle. I'll have to put the results up so everyone can see. It's just a fan poll. It's not anything official. But
I think the people that pick Frenchie on those polls probably don't really like him, but they just want to piss off they wanted to throw it a little bit. So.
You trolls, trolls. But yeah, so all right. Well, we'll see who wins the POV, and we'll see who gets eliminated, and then we'll see you guys back at Slop Talk at the end of the week. Enjoy the show, and don't forget, like, subscribe, comment below if there's anything you guys want us to discuss, especially for next week. Like if there's something you guys want to talk about, a specific person that we're not touching light on a lot, let us know, and we'll definitely talk about them. So other than that, appreciate you guys watching and listening. Have a good one.